So be tuned at the beginning, 5 p.m. The time now 8:10, WCBS TV, Channel 2.
The Morning Report continues, brought to you by Nescafe, the instant coffee that brews delicious, fresh roasted flavor and aroma right in your cup. Your reporter, Bob Pfeiffer. Good morning. Here are the latest developments. New York City school teachers will enter their classrooms this morning with new hopes for an increased salary hike in the near future. School Superintendent John Theobald has been given a City Hall go-ahead to work out a plan that would double proposed pay boosts. Theobald says the increases might be managed by shifting about $10 million within the total education budget. The Board of Estimate today winds up 3 days of public hearings on the city's expense budget for the coming fiscal year. A new bid has been put in for purchase of New York City's publicly owned transit system, this one from a group headed by Mississippi industrialist R.E. Dumas Milner. In a wire to the mayor, Milner declared that his group feels it can match any previous offer and still maintain the 15-cent fare level. Yesterday, the spokesman for another group interested in buying the transit operation, Roy Chalk, revised his offer, promising to maintain the 15-cent fare if the city would guarantee a 6.5% profit margin by subsidy if necessary. Contract talks between the major metropolitan newspapers and their printers will continue today, with new hope expressed by the president of the union that differences will be resolved without a strike. Well, about the biggest thing in New York City today, except perhaps the Empire State Building, is the reception accorded the premier American performance of Russia's Bolshoi Ballet at the Metropolitan Opera House. Celebrities, society, and ballet enthusiasts packed every space that had a view of the stage to watch the world-acclaimed troupe. Elsewhere on the cultural scene, the question is whether free Shakespeare productions in Central Park are to be or are not to be. Parks Commissioner Robert Moses has been unavailable for comment since his demand that admission be charged to the summer programs. Lined up against Moses are City Council President Abe Stark and Borough President Hewlin Jack. And a reminder that the nationwide civil defense test today will begin at 11:30 this morning, with all radio and television stations leave the air for half an hour in a test of the Conelrad system, which can be heard at 6:40 and 12:40 on the AM radio dial. At 1:30 this afternoon, the public will be required to take part in a 10-minute drill. Well, another pleasant day ahead, and I'll have more on that in just a moment. And now for some very good news about new self-brewing Nescafe instant coffee. Right now, you can save 12 cents on the regular large jar of new self-brewing Nescafe instant coffee. Yes, it's now 12 cents off. A great buy. And wait till you taste it. All those bubbles you see are bursting with flavor as new self-brewing Nescafe brews delicious, fresh roasted flavor and aroma right there in your cup. Start enjoying this dark, rich, delicious coffee now while this special offer lasts. Remember, it's 12 cents off on the regular large jar of Nescafe. Pick up several at this bargain price the next time you shop, and you'd better make it soon because this special offer is for a limited time only. Look for the Nescafe jar with the special label saying 12 cents off. And remember, supplies are limited. And now here's the weather forecast for New York City and vicinity. Today, fair continued warm, high in the 70s. Tonight, continued fair, low in the 50s. Tomorrow, fair and continued warm, increasing high cloudiness. And those are the latest developments and the latest weather. This has been your Morning Report, presented by Nescafe, the instant coffee that brews delicious, fresh roasted flavor and aroma right in your cup. Your reporter, Bob Pfeiffer. This is the Morning Report.
Now stay tuned to Captain Kangaroo next on Channel 2.
This is Bob Pfeiffer. I'd like to welcome as my special prom guest for today, Mrs. Frances Schinzel from right here in New York City. Mrs. Schinzel, I understand that your first introduction to Prom Home Permanent came in a sort of a roundabout, unusual sort of way. I wonder if you'd tell me more about it.
Of course. A friend asked me to give her a prom. I liked the results of her prom so well, and it was so easy to do, I thought I'd give myself one.
And what feature did you like best about your first prom, then, Mrs. Schinzel?
Oh, it's so soft and natural, and I just love the self-neutralizing. No fuss, no bother, and no clock.
Yes, the fact that prom is self-neutralizing is really a wonderful feature, isn't it? Because then you just apply the prom lotion, then rinse your hair with plain water, and let it dry naturally right on the curlers, and there's no separate neutralizer to bother with. So, as you pointed out, you don't have the timing and the dabbing and messing about, do you?
No, and I also like the idea that I had a lotion just for my hair, which is very hard to wave.
Then with hard-to-wave hair, you use the Prom Super, is that right?
That's right.
I wonder if you'd let the ladies at home see how lovely your hair looks to me right here in the studio so they can have a real close look. Would you do that?
Of course.
Yes, that is a very soft, natural, lovely-looking curl, Mrs. Schinzel, and I want to thank you very much for being my special guest for today. And ladies, I'd like to remind you that you also have a choice of 3 prom lotions, one just right for your particular type hair. Now, there's the Prom Super for hard-to-wave hair, Prom Very Gentle for easy-to-wave hair, Prom Regular for normal-to-wave hair, and new Children's Prom for your child's resistant hair. So, ladies, promise yourself a prom. This is Bob Pfeiffer. Let's meet my lovely prom guest for today, Miss Jane Story, from right here in New York City. Miss Story, I understand that prom first came to your attention through radio and television advertising.
Yes, that's right.
Had you tried other brands of home permanent before you tried prom?
Yes, I had, but not with very good results.
So prom sort of solved your hair problem for you, would you say that?
Yes, it certainly did. It gave me a very soft curl, and it's very manageable, not at all brittle, and I don't have to give myself a prom every 6 to 8 weeks either.
And that's very important, isn't it?
Yes, it certainly is.
Now, tell me, did you like prom's self-neutralizing action?
Yes, I did, because it eliminates the confusion of using a separate neutralizer.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, after I had my hair up in curlers, I went out and did some shopping while it dried.
So you were free to come and go as you pleased, weren't you? You know, ladies, that's the wonderful thing about prom, is that you just apply the prom lotion, rinse your hair with plain water, let it dry naturally on the curlers, and as Miss Story says, you're free to do whatever you care to do. There's no complicated timing, no messing and dabbing about with a separate neutralizer, because prom is self-neutralizing, and that means you can be sure of the results. I wonder if we could get a good close look at your hair, Miss Story.
Yes.
That is a very soft, natural, lovely-looking curl. And may I thank you so much for being my guest today, Miss Story. Now, ladies, in addition to all the wonderful features that Miss Story told you about prom, I'd like to remind you that you have a choice of 3 lotions, one just right for your particular type hair. Now, there's Prom Super for hard-to-wave hair, Prom Very Gentle for easy-to-wave hair, Prom Regular for normal-to-wave hair, and new Children's Prom for your little girl's resistant hair. So, promise yourself a prom.